Hello and welcome to this brand new and exciting video presentation. Today, I am delighted to introduce you to a powerful and versatile script that has been specifically designed to allow us to efficiently create sophisticated backdoors. This remarkable tool functions seamlessly and effectively on both Windows operating systems and Linux distributions, offering broad compatibility. The script itself is exceptionally straightforward and user-friendly, intentionally designed to be not overly complex, making it accessible to a wide range of users. As you can clearly observe here, it comprehensively contains all the essential information, necessary configurations, and various flexible options that you can readily utilize and customize to suit your specific requirements and so forth. So with all of that important introductory information now thoroughly discussed, let us delve directly and immediately into the practical demonstration. Additionally, this incredibly useful script provides us with the advanced capability to establish and manage multiple concurrent sessions, and furthermore, to seamlessly join one active session to another directly from the host machine that is currently running and managing the primary session. So, without further ado, let us now meticulously observe precisely how this entire process is accomplished. We will begin by taking my Kali Linux machine as our primary example. I also critically need to acquire the script itself, which I will then carefully move and place into the appropriate directory here, and subsequently we will proceed to install it in a very simple and straightforward manner. So, in order to successfully achieve that, we will first execute the git clone command, then I will meticulously copy the exact address. Well, to be more precise, I will copy it, carefully paste it into the terminal, and then confidently press the enter key to initiate the download. I will patiently wait for a brief moment for the process to complete. Then I will use the cd command to navigate and enter into the newly created directory. Here, as you can distinctly see, there is an essential requirements file present, so we absolutely need to type the command pip install r requirements and then press enter to install all the necessary dependencies. Okay, as for my Kali Linux installation, the specific requirement is already fully satisfied, so it doesn't need to install anything further at this particular moment. Most likely, when you attempt to try this process on your own system, it will probably install various essential software components and their associated dependencies. So with that in mind, I will now proceed to type Python and then execute the command. I press enter, and at this precise moment we find ourselves deeply immersed within the active session. Allow me to meticulously demonstrate this for a brief moment. Let me carefully zoom in here on the screen for your clear and unobstructed view. Now, if I proceed to type the command help into the terminal, I am presented with a comprehensive list of various available options and functionalities. So, the very first crucial element we need to meticulously create is generate, specifically generate and then again generate, and with a decisive action I press enter. Oh, my apologies, I must correct myself. Before that, I need to explicitly show you something critically important. Help generate. Here, for instance, we are clearly shown the capability to meticulously craft and create the backdoor specifically designed for Windows operating systems. Therefore, I will carefully copy this particular command and then accurately paste it right here into our active terminal window. Subsequently, for the local host configuration, we are afforded the flexibility to set either the specific port number. In this particular scenario, I will opt to utilize the designated port of my virtual machine, ensuring proper network communication. However, it is also a viable alternative to select a specific IP address instead, depending on the network setup, and with that selection made, I press enter to confirm. Okay, what we now have displayed before us is our meticulously constructed payload, a critical component for our operation. Now, this entire payload needs to be precisely copied from its current location here. I will ensure to copy every single character and line of it, and then I will proceed to show you something quite significant. Copy. Now I will transition and proceed to open from my actual physical computer, which serves as the host machine, a PowerShell shell, which is a powerful command line interface, and here it is, ready for use. If I were to simply paste that entire payload directly into this PowerShell window, it is highly probable, almost certain, that the installed antivirus software would immediately detect it and vociferously complain, flagging it as a malicious threat. Let's observe this phenomenon for a moment to confirm. I carefully copy the payload once more, and then with a deliberate action, I press enter to execute it. Let's patiently wait for just a second or two, and the antivirus software, with its vigilant monitoring capabilities, as soon as it registers and fully realizes that I have initiated and run this potentially harmful script, and here it is, just as predicted, it promptly issues a clear notification stating unequivocally that within PowerShell the operation was effectively blocked because etc., providing further details. Let's take a closer look at these details. The reported behavior is categorized as shield, indicating active protection, okay? and it confirms that it was indeed blocked, which is perfect from a security standpoint. However, for the purpose of our demonstration and understanding, we ultimately want it to successfully work and execute, don't we? And here's where the cool part comes in. Here I type obfuscation. Now, as you can see, the script, the payload has changed, right? I will now proceed to meticulously copy everything once more, ensuring no detail is missed, and then carefully paste it into the appropriate location. Following this, I will execute the command again. At this precise moment, as you can clearly observe on the screen, the system confirms that a session has been successfully established. Indeed, here it is, prominently displayed. If I were to now input the command sessions, you would see the specific IP address of my machine, which is the virtual machine currently connected to the Windows operating system. It also identifies the user, in this particular instance, that would be me, XXX, and crucially, it provides the unique session ID. I will carefully copy this essential identifier, then type the command shell and subsequently paste the previously copied session ID. And voila, just like that, I am successfully inside the shell environment. If I then type the dir command, it will list all the files present within my current directory. In this specific case, it's my user directory, XXX, so the username is XXX, and here they all are laid out for inspection. Now, just as a quick reminder and for illustrative purposes, imagine, for example, if I desire to transfer or copy these particular files from the remote computer, meaning from my compromised machine over to my local Linux machine. Currently, we are operating within a PowerShell environment, which means the typical straightforward FTP command will not function as expected because we are required to utilize specific FTP commands designed for this environment. However, let us now attempt to perform this same operation for a Linux target. So I will navigate here, and instead of specifying Windows, I will accurately type Linux. And there it is, correctly configured. Consequently, I will copy everything precisely as I demonstrated before, the entire content. Then I will open my Ubuntu machine and I will proceed to I open the console or terminal, paste, and let's see what happens. Okay, this says it's not there. Now, this Linux installation is pretty clean. Sorry, I mean Linux. So it's basically missing a lot of dependencies. Alright, so let's install them. It says curl is missing. So apt install curl, it only takes a moment and then we'll try again. Paste. Okay, here it is. The session has been successfully established, this time specifically with the Linux machine. So if I carefully type the command sessions into the terminal, if I explicitly write sessions here, then indeed, here they are clearly displayed. I currently have two active sessions, one originating from a Windows operating system and the other from a Linux operating system. Obviously, it is important to note that these established sessions can be either temporary in nature or alternatively configured to be permanent. The specific duration and persistence always depend entirely on the primary objective or goal of the penetration test. If I proceed to type the command shell in this particular case as well, shell, then a shell will be provided. After successfully pasting the necessary commands, I find myself seamlessly integrated and operating within the Linux virtual machine environment. For instance, if I want to navigate to a specific location, I can use the cd command such as cd desktop, which will take me directly to the desktop directory, and within this directory I now have access to and can view all of my files and folders, ready for further interaction and work. Desktop, just to see if it actually works as intended. And anyway, these are indeed the primary folders that specifically belong to the current user. In this particular case, the user known as CrazyNet. Now, it understandably takes a little bit of time because it is not exactly that instantly reactive or responsive. Meanwhile, if you carefully read the information provided on the official GitHub page, it clearly states that this particular Python script is still very much in its initial testing phase. Anyway, I sincerely hope that this detailed explanation was genuinely useful to you and that it successfully gave you a much clearer idea of precisely what you can effectively do with it, what its fundamental purpose is for, and exactly how these types of backdoors fundamentally operate. Obviously, if you want to completely exit the program, you just simply need to type the command exit. Yes, that's correct. Now, it effectively ends the active sessions, which is absolutely perfect. If I meticulously type this command, as you can clearly see, it explicitly tells you that it comprehensively enables the entire network and all associated IP addresses, both for the crucial purpose of receiving incoming data and for the equally important task of sending outgoing information. However, if you genuinely want to be much more specific and precise, here you have the convenient option to specify the exact port number, that is to say, the specific ports encompassing both the sending and the listening ports, which are essential for the proper functioning of Netcat. And then, if it is indeed needed or required, you can also provide the certificate and the corresponding key file. Here, there's the update functionality, and you can also precisely specify the IP address, which is handled under Netcat, specifically under the N option, where you can explicitly define the IP address. This means it can obviously and quite effectively also be utilized for various remote purposes and operations. Okay, I think that comprehensively covers everything for now, and I sincerely hope this detailed explanation gave you a much clearer and more thorough idea. If you are considering trying it out on your personal computer, obviously and emphatically, you should always try it on your secure virtual machines, because otherwise attempting it on a live system could potentially be considered a serious crime, and of course we absolutely do not want that to happen, especially since this entire video is created and presented for educational purposes only. With all of that important information said, I now say a fond goodbye and extend my sincere thanks to you for watching this entire video. If you genuinely liked it, please do leave a like, and if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel